see that you develop junior programs all across the country, in Egypt, in Russia, and Mexico, to name a few. Could you describe your programs?
I will tell you this, the story about how this is coming. I was an assistant squash coach in sporting clubs since I was young, since 2004. I worked with many coaches, many players. And in 2010, I joined Smoha Club, and I had two players. They were juniors by this time. I had Faris Dessouki and Mariam Mitwali. So I started with Faris and Mariam since they were 17 years old, 16 or 17 years old. And then we started from there to have a junior, to turn him in a top junior player, and then a top pro. Right. So this was for me the experience and the timing that I started to develop my career. By this time, Faris was, I think, Faris and Mariam at the same time, they reached the final of the Worlds in Poland. And after this, I remember that Faris shouldn't lose the final, and he should have won the tournament. And we came back to Alexandria, and he was like, "It's enough, I'm going to stop, it's done." Then we talked together for a while, and then, "Why don't you try to win the Worlds for the men? The juniors, it's done, you have other." So we started to develop new things, start to work on new things to turn him from a junior to a top pro, which what happened the years later. So he reached, I think, top 100, the year after, top 50, top 20. Every year he was going further.
In that transition from junior to pro, what different things did you guys do?
It's totally different. It's totally different. The pace of the training changed. The way of thinking about the game also changed. It's very important to change the view of the player for the game, because once he starts to change his ideas, for example, if you ask any player, okay, what is the perfect drive?
Right.
He will tell you it should be deep in the back. Where in the back? Right. Which pace? Right. So it's very important so they understand what is the perfect drive that he will need to play in this level. And he start to work on it. And to work on it not for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, he's playing in a match for like an hour and a half. So he need to have this drill for an hour and a half going on.
To work up his stamina?
Yes.
To work up his fitness?
Yes.
Wow.
And the stamina and the fitness will go parallel with the drills that you're going to make inside the court. And if you have the skills after this, it will help you.
Very cool.
If you just have the skills without having the basic that will let you use your skills, you're not going to reach to it.
What is your favorite drill to work on with a junior?
Yeah, I like to mix the long game with the short game. And I like the players to start to make a drill that let him play a long shot in the back, to make something long in the back, and then I'll give him an opening and he go for the opening for a short shot.
Okay. Like,
for example, a long drive and a short volley drop. In Egypt, we're using the four corners of the courts. It's more it's a more attacking game.
Yes. Right.
So once I put you in the back, okay, and then I'm already in the middle of the court. You're already in the back. I have to move you. I have to change. I have to make something different. I'm not going to return the ball again in the same place.
What types of programs are you setting up?
Started to have some players who wanted to come to Egypt to train there. The Colombian Federation sent me like 2 players. By this time, it was Andres Herrera and Santiago Orozco. They came to Egypt. They stayed there for 3 months to train there. And the good result for those players after they left from Egypt, they won the Pan American under 19. Andres won the Pan American under 19. So the other countries around, they also wanted to get the same experience.
Of course.
Yeah. So I had players from Paraguay. They sent the top player there. I had players from Mexico coming there. Most of the nations there, they sent me players. And at the same time, they invited me to make the same program there and to set set a program and to get their coaches and the trainer to know what's going on, how we're doing those drills. I was going to all the all the South American countries to start to teach those programs and how we're going to improve a player to take him from a level to the next level.
You created the Elkeiy squash camp in Alexandria, Egypt.
Yeah.
Could you talk about the camp?
The camp in Egypt is all based on mixing the players from all over the world to play together with the Egyptian local players. So we start like, okay, we put them on a physical program, and then we put them on a squash program, each one upon his needs, because you know, like when you have a player as a coach, you need to put this player on a piece of paper, because you want to have a fast improvement.
Right.
To have a fast improvement in a player, you have to work on his defects. For example, you know, like any player, okay, he's having a good long game, but his short games is not working. So you have to work on his short game. And a player is not physically strong, so you will work on his physical state. So the player, you should put him on a piece of paper with everything. What he's doing well, what he's doing good, and what he's doing bad. And then from here, you start to make a program for each one.
An individualized training program.
Yes, even if you're putting them in team training,
Right.
each one is working on something different for himself. This is the point, not just put them all to do the same thing. All players should know and understand their strengths and their weakness, because you need to work with them. They need to understand what the drill is for. So put them on a physical training, each one for his needs. Squash program, each one for his needs. Plus, we make a match play with the locals, which is very important to implement what you did in the training. Which is something here that I'm struggling with it here in USA, that nobody wants to play games with each other. Nobody wants to practice together.
That's amazing.
Everyone wants to be with his coach, and that's all, which is something, okay, I'm a coach, I'm going to train you for 1 hour, okay, but you need other players, you need players to play with. You're not going to take me with you in the tournament to play with. Yeah, and this is something very important, that the mentality here needs to change. The players need to play together. They're afraid, okay, he will know my strategy, he will know my game, how I'm going to play with him in the tournament after, he will know my strengths. The players, I can tell you, okay, this player needs 1, 2, 3, 4. But you're not going to do it.
Right.
You need to work.
So
The top players, they're all playing together in the tournaments.
Right.
And they're training together.
Correct.
So it's something weird that I see here. The coaches by themselves, they will not going to make you better. You need to use the other players. You need to work together.
So you believe in work with definitely believe in work with other players?
Sure.
Versus individual coaching as well?
Yeah, and especially the young kids.
Oh, especially.
Yes, because, for example, if you have a kid, he's like 9 years old or 10 years old playing, and he's going to play on my pace, he will get used to my pace, but once he will go with another player, his age, he's going to struggle, because the ball bouncing is different, the pace is different.
It's a different
It's
pace.
slower, and he will find some balls not accurate. The coaches, most of their shots are accurate.
Right.
So when he will see something in the middle of the court, he will not gonna have the chance how to use it, how to deal with it. So it's very important that the players play together.